I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Mel, and welcome to Life Coaching by Mel. Here at Life Coaching by Mel, we speak truth regarding the family, and that truth is here every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button, like button for everyone. Hit me in the comment section what you think about this amazing topic. Hit that notification bell as well so you can get each and every one of my videos. Like I said, I speak truth regarding the family here on the channel, and today is no different, but I need some help. I got a friend of mine that's going to help me out. Newfound friend, lady by the name of Sharetha DeShields. How you doing, Sharetha?
I am excellent. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's my honor and pleasure. Me and Sharetha has met through another recent guest, Kristen, and we've connected. And Sharetha is a powerhouse, ladies and gentlemen, so you might want to buckle up. She has an amazing story, and she's bold in how she expresses herself. So I'm looking forward to that with this discussion today. I found a video, Sharetha, that's, you know, raised some eyebrows for me. It's pretty crazy, but I want to get your thoughts on it, and we have that discussion from there. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, Sharetha has a great story, an amazing story regarding her marriage in particular. We're going to get into that later on. But before we do, let's discuss this
This
crazy
video.
madness. Let's take a look.
Notified me that my final decree of divorce has been approved by the judge. I know that it sucks being alone. I come home and I'm alone. I go everywhere alone. I don't hardly talk to him anymore. I don't blame him. I filed for the divorce. So I'm sure people are wondering, well, you filed. Why are you so upset? Why are you crying? Just because you make a decision that you think is going to end up making things better doesn't mean that you have to give up the fact that you love that person or that you did it because you were trying or whatever. I've never met anybody like him, and I've never loved anybody like him either, but I don't want a divorce. I still am very much in love with my husband.
Said I'm still in love. No, I'm just playing. She's still in love, Sharetha. There's a lot going on there, but I got to hear your
Mhm.
response. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
yeah, actually, I'm seeing a lot more of these types of videos than I care to see, to be honest with you. And this is not gonna go the way a lot of people think it's gonna go, but this what I'm gonna say basically it involves around her, recentering her as the woman. Now, this typically happens when a wife knows, um, like deep down, that her husband wasn't good for her, but
Mm.
she still loves him dearly. I have a personal story to share on this very thing, but let me stick with this lady for, here for now. She mentioned that she's lonely. And yeah, that she's the one that filed for divorce. I know she did mention that people are like, well, what are you crying for? What is these alligator tears for? You the one that filed. Then she says, I noticed too, like she says, oh, I don't want to get divorced and blah 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 blah. It's what she's not saying that concerns me. And I understand it was a short clip, but my thing is, um, are there any children with the couple? Most times, women, I'm gonna keep it a buck here. Most times, women stay in relationships due to financial dependency. And
Mm.
yeah, there might be some level of companionship and things like that, but they stay in relationships due to financial dependency or FOMO, like you heard it's FOMO, the fear of missing out,
Yep.
um, possessiveness. They still want influence and possession. They know that the relationship wasn't good for them for whatever reason, right? But they still want to people want to feel wanted and needed to a fault. And that's not good, that's not healthy at all. It keeps us in situations we don't need to be in. So I get where she's coming from. She's a little bit distraught, and when you do love somebody and you still have a lot of feelings and emotions and things like that for them, it does wear on, it tugs on your heartstrings. But this whole thing with filing after you filed for the divorce or, separated or whatever, and this, oh, I want you back. That's nothing but a form of FOMO and possessiveness on the side of women won't say
Mm.
that, okay, but that's what it is. And yeah, and here's the thing too. I gotta make this point because the manosphere always wants to put, the men put their foot down about the status they hold,
Mhm.
and remind women to stay in their place. Like, and I don't mean that as in um, they want to, subjugate in a certain sense, but just
Right.
yeah, they just want women to kind of stay in their place, and when you don't, suffer ye the consequences. So, and as soon as that woman gets fed up, and wants to leave, or in this case, actually leave, and then feels insecure about it because it's tough out here in these streets, right? And she's like, "Oh, I'm lonely," and and all this stuff. What happens, what I'm seeing in these videos too, is men tend to they gloat about it and it becomes an I told you so
Mm.
for him, this ego thing. Um,
Mhm.
this isn't love. And I see this happening quite often in the comments and things like that, because again, men's whole goal here is they want to feel needed. They
Mm.
want to feel loved, but they have to feel needed. And so when a woman does something like this, it's like we're gonna make an example out of her. Now, in
Mm.
this case, she did it to herself. She's the one to put herself out there. Um, and there's some work that she has to do. You could see that she the only I feel, and like I said, it's what she's not saying that concerns me more. But on the surface, with this clip, um, I think it's just it's FOMO. It's that whole, oh, I what have I done? I want them back. You know why you filed. You know deep down
Mm.
why you filed. The vibes weren't vibing anymore.
Yeah.
And so to come on here and do your little video and cry your tears, and we see a lot of people sharing this intimate side of them a lot more now. And this is what I think just off of this 40-second clip, however long it was. But the first thing women do tend to do, because you heard her say it's my fault. So the first thing women tend to do is blame themselves.
Mhm.
This woman is clearly in that phase. And I have a personal story, and I actually went through that. I blamed myself to an extent, knowing full well that there were some issues there that I'm like, no, this is I did the best I could. I'm not perfect, but it took a while to get over that. So there's a lot of guilt that women bring on themselves, and it's not healthy and it's not right. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here.
Yeah. I respect their opinion. I definitely
Hmm.
value that. That's great things you said there. I want to highlight two things, if you don't mind.
Hmm.
Said,
Yeah.
you said FOMO, which I think is a great point, but you also said possessiveness, and I lean more towards that one. If I
Hmm. I
just
should have
to
probably said it in reverse.
no, you're good. You're
Possessiveness
good.
first. Yeah.
I'll just speak a little bit from my perspective and also a lot of my clients' perspective that a lot of men are facing divorce are with women who, or a lot of the cases are women who don't want them anymore, but don't want anyone else to have them. And
That's
it
it.
sounds like
Yeah.
this is the case for this lady. Like she's realizing, like, he not calling me no more. He's not, you know, checking on me anymore. He's moving on actually to other women. And it made me go to the head. I had to say, bam, Sharetha. I had to think about for a second, like, oh man, this happened to
Yeah.
me. I don't know if you know my story. I was with my ex-wife, a total of 14 years, but we were married for about
Hmm.
5, 3 years separation. So we're only together about 2 of that 5-year marriage in the same
Okay.
home. But
Okay.
the point is, the 3 years separation went on so long because she kept stringing me along. And anytime she felt that I was moving on, that's when she wanted to get
Yeah.
back together. Once
Yeah.
she found that I cut everybody else off, she didn't want anything else to
Right.
do with me. So we even get to the point where I finally filed. Sharetha, I got the the gumption to go ahead and file. Said it's over. I'm leaving. It's time to go. So I
Yeah.
I pull the trigger. I get there, and she had the nerve to ask me this question. She said, and I was talking to my current wife about this last night. I said, she said, so let's say I have a flat tire. I have a
Yeah.
flat tire and I can't reach. Actually, I need you to come fix my tire. Would you come? I had to hit her with this, Sharetha.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
I had to hit her with the hell no, Sharetha. I'm sorry. It just ain't happening.
That is funny. He said that the entire throughout the whole movie. That
But
is
the thing is,
funny.
I told her, like, look, why would I, after everything you put me through, be the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
call? I said, look, I thought about it a little bit more. I said, look, I better be
Yeah.
maybe number 15 on that list. You better go through a
You
whole
better
bunch of other people before you get to me.
exhaust
Because,
all your efforts. Yeah.
exactly. But essentially, a lot of women want their cake and eat it too. They want to be able to have you where they want you, but be able to do what they want. And in my case, I did file, but she literally, my ex would have strung me along for years, and and kept me in her beck and call until I filed. Like it would never have
Yeah.
ended. To
Yeah,
that, you
that's
say,
true. Yeah, and I say that this is where women really need to work on themselves. And I recently joined, a women's group and book club that really helps focus on that. And it's a little bit more, um, you know, there's more than meets the eye to this particular group because a lot of times a lot of men feel it's a kind of a conundrum. It's a lot of men feel threatened when a woman decides to take control of her life. It's again, it goes back to
"Mm,
that neediness part. And when men say they want a woman that's not dragging them through the mud, being possessive, telling them this, that, and the third. But I'm going to be honest with you. When women really truly empower themselves, something happens. And then they do realize that they don't need the man. They have to want they have to want the man, but they don't
right,
need the man or need the relationship. And I do think that in this case, there's an old Buddhist saying, right? Stop choosing was not choosing you.
mm,
And if like she held this principle in her mind, we would never, and other women, we would never see videos like this if women just took the time to acknowledge their own weaknesses and say, you know what, it's okay. I know that this relationship wasn't it wasn't working.
yeah,
But we want to bring in all of the lower level side of the human side aspect to us into a lot of these things instead of learning to really truly elevate and that's what I think is definitely the problem here. And so I'm disturbed a little bit to see men, a lot of them laughing at it and looking at it as, that's what you get, that's what you get. No, we have to get down to um nobody ever wants to get down to the root cause. We're all dealing with the symptoms, the surface BS is what I like to call it. We never want to go to the depths of the ocean to figure out what exactly caused the tsunami.
no doubt.
And I quite frankly, I'm sick of it. It's time to suit up, put your diving gear on, your oxygen tanks, thermal suit, wetsuit, whatever. Let's go, jump. Like I know there's
Yeah.
sharks in the water. So what? Jump. The water too cold. I don't care. Jump. You know what I mean? So this is why I think we need to do that. And my personal story with this, my first husband, I did the very same, except back then there wasn't social media and videos like this. Even if there was, my pride was too much for me that I wouldn't even think to,
Yeah.
to make a video and publish that. But either way, I did the same thing. I knew that the relationship, when I decided to move and leave, I had separated first, and the divorce wasn't actually final until a year later. Um, but I decided to move on, but you know how that is, the heartstrings, and you get all emotional, and then again, when you continue to see each other, um, that makes that just prolongs. That just kicks
Yeah.
the can down the road, and you're dangling somebody on a string. So for a while, neither one of us kind of wanted to let go, but then that possessive thing came in, not from me, actually from him. And I'm
Mm.
like, bro, how this supposed to work? Like, you get to do what you want to do. We're in two separate residences, and
No.
I gotta stay, I gotta stay tied down, but you could do whatever. No, that's not how this works. So the thing that really hit me, and it hurts, but women need to really eh, look at this and not, um, don't allow your weakness to overrun your mind and your thinking for why you decided to part ways in the first place.
Mm.
This was the thing that really hit me in the gut when I came to him and said, well, let's try and work this out. Now, mind you, I was already gone. I was already moved out, and we had two children, in the, caught up in it. And so I decided, I left the house, and I left the house to him. I didn't fight for the house or, you know, cars, whatever. I had my own car. It was like a cordial parting of ways.
Yeah.
But I decided, well, at some point I was like, well, let's try and work it out. I was looking at the effect it was having on my sons and all of that, and I wasn't thinking clearly. And so I did have a conversation with him and asked him about it, but it was kind of like this, well, you want to, I was shocked at his response. And, it's like, well, you're the one wanted to leave. And I don't know. I don't know. And he just kept saying this, I don't know about that. And I'm like, wow. I was like, we still been kind of seeing each other off and on throughout this whole separation. And, and it just hit me in the gut that he paused. And I'm like, why is he pausing? And I was like, okay. I was like, I know why he's he's hesitant and pausing. He wanted to have his cake and eat it too.
Mm.
And so, but the fact that, when a wife comes out and does this and comes back and says, oh, I don't want to leave, or don't leave me, or I want to get back together after the ink has already dried. Um, you know, it's really tough because you have that fear of missing out. And a lot of times women don't say this, but I'm gonna say it, excuse me, ladies, but I gotta, told y'all I was gonna keep it a buck up in here. Um, a lot of times women that whole um what they're looking to do is just keep that tie, that connection, and they know that that's not really what they want to do. They don't really
Yeah.
want the man. Some of them don't even love the man anymore.
Mm.
They're just lonely. They need companionship, but call your girlfriends up. Go hang out with them. Go get your boost and your energy restored, because men in general are not going to restore you. That's something you have to do yourself, and you have to get in with your circle of women and females to restore that. But women are not going to do that. They just feel like they have to stay stuck in this wanting, in this companionship, and I'm lonely. No, in fact, before I remarried my second husband, I was single for, I want to say, 8, 9 years.
Mm.
And let me tell you, I was happily single. You did not hear the word lonely or alone come out my mouth the entire time. And the reason for that was because I kept busy. I had a, regular full-time job. I had side hustles going on. I was living my life. I was getting in tune with me spiritually, emotionally, just everything.
Yeah.
That's the time she she didn't realize the blessing in disguise is, no, don't ask for him to come back to you. Repair yourself. Get yourself in order first.
Yeah.
And then if it was meant to be, it was meant to be. If not, you got to let that birdie fly.
Yeah.
Um, and that's where I am on that. I know a lot of people are really big on, oh, family, and you gotta, well, two whole people need to come together, not a half of one
Mm.
and a whole
Yeah.
person, or vice versa. It needs to be two whole people. And
Yeah.
willing to be mature and work through things and not cower from the challenges that are going to surface. But when you know
Mm,
you're done and somebody's mistreating you and they're not respecting you, and I'm not sure what the situation was with this woman, but we deep down we know what we know internally,
absolutely.
but we still make these decisions because we feel like we want to feel wanted and needed by a man, in this fear of missing out. And it's like, no, no, boo boo, you take care of you, so you're not out here making these crazy videos and having
Mm.
everybody looking at you crazy, you know.
You're right,
I
right.
mean, I'm just being honest about that. And she has to deal with that. Why did she leave? Why did she really leave?
Mm,
Was it financial? Was it loneliness? You can find companionship in other areas. And I'm not saying necessarily run to another man. No, I'm not. Just love yourself.
yeah.
Love on yourself. And it's hard for women to make moves like that, but I did. That's all I did was just love on myself the entire time. But that was a hard blow to me when my first husband was like, no, like you left and that's that. And, and he had his own reasons for, not, for deciding that. I know there was someone else.
Mm.
So it's like, it is what it is. I had to put my big girl panties on. And that's to say, I had to do that and just move on and move forward, knowing that I was going to be fine. Not worried about. I had my girlfriends tell me I was crazy. They're like, "You left him the house, you left this, that, and I was like, y'all." I said, "I don't have time for that." I said, "Peace of mind means
Mm.
more than anything to me," and I said, "God will replace the house, whatever else." I said, I don't miss that. When I left, I didn't even take the bedroom set. Like I slept on an airbed mattress for a year
Ooh,
in my apartment. I wanted to make sure my kids had their bedroom set, and things like that. I
yeah.
slept on an air bed for a year before I was able to like get myself a nice, bedroom suit and things like that. I didn't care. I was happy. I was sprawled
Yeah.
out on that thing, snoring, just enjoying myself because peace of mind is so important. But
Yes.
we go through our moments, ups and downs, where we're sad and I miss him and da da da. But ladies, I'm just asking you, keep your wits about you and really stop and think before you actually hit the record button. um, Pleading and begging and crying tears, for a man that you left and you divorced. Go, you need to flash back to why you divorced. What was all that about? And know
Yeah.
that better is coming. Um, that's what I have to say to that.
That's powerful. That's definitely powerful. I appreciate you for sharing that story. It has taken some vulnerability to do that. I really want to honor you for that. I will say, just in general, I do
Hmm.
represent and I'm fully for marriage, and I fully
Yeah,
support what the
yeah, I
word of
know.
God says about divorce. However, I stand before you as well as a divorced man. And my story is very similar to that with how I left my marriage,
Hmm.
lost everything. I just
Yeah,
decided to leave everything that we had to collectively to her. I just wanted out. I just wanted peace of mind. I wanted to get beyond the rejection that I was receiving. So that's what matters, and I think
that is.
although the Lord, the scripture is clear about how he hates divorce, the Lord is a forgiving God first and foremost, and he loves us more than he hates divorce. So, so don't
I
allow.
say to people too, I just tell folks, you dishonor God when you dishonor yourself.
Mm,
I,
mm,
I'm sorry. I have to say that because nobody goes into a marriage wanting to divorce. Let's be,
right.
I'm just being honest. Who goes in like,
Yep.
yeah, looking to get sign his divorce paperwork in a few months? No, I mean, there's some out there because they want some money. I don't know, but um, when they want to get paid. So, but I'm saying if somebody is truly, in love with another, they're not looking to go into this thing and be
Mm,
divorced, right? And so when reality sets in and we realize that the person before us is not who we thought they were, or they
yeah.
changed, or something happened, I feel like just due to my personal understanding and spiritual teachings, is that you dishonor God when you dishonor yourself. You cannot be
Absolutely.
at your best and do anything or help anyone else when you yourself are miserable and you're suffering in a relationship. That's no way to live. That's no way
That's
to
true.
live. So as
Absolutely.
everybody says, oh, God is a forgiving God. Okay, well then this is one of those instances where you have to say, hey, I forgive me for this and breaking my covenant or promise or what have you, but this is not working for me and I can't be the best me in this situation, in these circumstances. And so this is what I'm saying by the woman who's doing this. Oh, I miss my husband. Like I said, there's a lot not being said there, but at the end of the day, going back and revisiting why you decided to file in the first place. Did you do it
Yeah.
because you were just trying to be vindictive? Were you trying to get his attention? Oops, that's your fault if you if you want to play games, you know. But was there something else there that caused you to say, I'm done? And I don't want to deal with this anymore. Go back to that because that's going to be the thorn in your side if you stay or you take someone back. And no, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Just it pains me to see videos like that. And of course, like I said, I had a very similar situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't cute at all.
Now you just mentioned something there
Humiliating.
that I
Hmm.
hear you on that for sure. You just mentioned something there I kind of want to ask because I have my little note here. I jotted down.
Yeah.
You said
Hmm.
sometimes women do play those games just to see what response they're going to receive.
Yeah.
I want to ask you if you think this is part of it. So I saw a stat that says 74% of women think their partner should have worked harder to save the marriage. Now we do know the statistics say more often than not. I mean, not more often than not, but statistics tell us that 80% of marriages or divorces are filed by women. So how
Hmm.
can those two stats, be true together? Like how make sense for me that 80% of women are filing, but they're maybe asking that they partner should probably still try to save the marriage.
There's what I'll be happy to tell you. And like I said, a lot of these things just came to light. I just became enlightened on a lot of stuff because I used to really love studying relationships. I even had like a relationship group on Facebook and everything. But let me tell you, the key thing that is missing, women and men do not understand their own biology and psychology.
Mm,
That's what it is. And I just recently learned that women are looking to, first of all, men and women we're wired. We're just hardwired different. Okay. And so women are looking for women characteristics and traits like the communication and all these other things in men,
yeah,
but biologically and psychologically that's not there. That's something that a man has to work really, really, really hard at
absolutely.
to get and it's not like it's an intentional thing with men. I mean, I still do. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? Why you ain't just say? And then I catch myself when I'm ready to start fussing, right? And my husband, I'm like, Sharetha, you already know, like, don't do this. Wiring, it's the wiring. And so where we are at fault, and I will say this, is that we're expecting the man to act like us to be
Wow.
like, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So at this point, I feel like women need to determine what's your deal breakers at this point, because we all know if you're going to be in a relationship like that, there is give and take. You have to know what your deal breakers are. What can you tolerate and what can you absolutely not tolerate? And then you work from that space. And then if you can't go, but the communication thing, like, oh, please. I mean, I that part is not going to ever be what a lot of women have been disillusioned into thinking it's going to be.
Mm,
Now, does that mean ignore it and forget about it? No, there are some things that at a minimum men do need to do. But I just think that we as women think men think like us, and they don't.
yeah.
And they never will. So, um, and men need to understand that as well. Like, there's some men y'all could tune us out quick because, we get to
Real quick,
go.
real quick.
Y'all have like a certain switch underneath somewhere, and y'all could just. And I'm like, and see, up for us, the connection comes through the communication and things like that. But men biologically, and there's studies out here on this where they've
Mhm.
studied. There's PubMed studies and everything on the NIH site that actually addresses why men are not real, good communicators when it comes to relationships. Women, that's our thing. Like that's what we do. So we don't understand male psychology, we don't understand male biology, and that causes a lot of friction.
Mm.
And that is what I have learned. I mean, trying to what is it they say, extract blood from a turnip, whatever. It's just not going to happen. There are going to be some exceptions and things that women are going to have to be willing. They're going to have to be willing to sacrifice if they choose to stay in a relationship and stay married to a
Mm.
man.
Let's go.